Okay, Podsters, this is it. This is your tipping point, your moment to take action or live with never knowing what could have been. We all have that thing that we know we are meant to do that scares us, that we're not sure we can do, and that we know we need a little help doing. My Do the Thing Fall Retreat is happening October 13th through 15th in where else? Cape Cod, in the tranquil seaside town of Truro, where I've hand-selected a beach house for 9 like-minded women to get together and do the thing. You already know that there's a life waiting for you on the other side of this thing. And this powerful, intimate 2.5-day workshop is exactly what you need. If you don't do it now, you probably never will. Don't live with regret. Do the thing. Click the link, fill out the very brief application. Let's hop on a call because I want to make sure it's the right fit for you. Together, let's do the thing. Hey, Podsters, it's Nancy Medoff and Beth Knaus, here to change the conversation around women in confidence with actionable tools, real-life stories, humor, kindness, and the occasional shenanigans.
We are fired up. We are calling things as we see them, and we are not holding back. We have a bullshit button, and we're not afraid to use it.
We have used it in the past. I'm Nancy Medoff, keynote speaker, executive coach, and best-selling author who literally wrote the book on women in confidence.
I'm Beth Knaus, creative copywriter, personal messaging consultant who helps business owners use their unique voice to bring in more ideal clients.
So here's what's up. If you're done playing it safe, you're tired of your own narrative, and you're ready to step into your authenticity, you're in the right place.
If you're looking for a weekly shot of confidence and the occasional truth bomb, you're also in the right place. So buckle up, friends.
And get ready to feel empowered and inspired as together we build our confidence toolkit and empower women everywhere to speak up and get their seat at the table, and then build a bigger table. We're back and I'm fired up.
Yeah, me too.
You look at it. Beth is outside, everyone. So Beth is sitting outside in her porch, and what she's trying to get a little Zen moment going on here. So I'll let you breathe for a second. And when I first met Beth, it was at a virtual networking event during the COVID times, and she was on her porch. That's when I knew, I'm like, someone's showing up for a call on her porch. I need to get to know that woman.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes. All right. This is no time for Zen. I'm done with it.
Well, actually, it's a good segue into what we're talking about. What are we talking about?
It is, because what I'm really doing is getting some recovery time. We are talking about resilience.
Yep.
And what really is that about?
Mm-hmm.
Is it about perseverance? Is it about grit? Or is it really about recovery from a challenging time, I guess is a good general word for it. But we're going to dig into it right now.
Yeah, we are. Before we do that, I have a surprise for you, Beth.
Please tell me.
Do you know that Unmute Yourself, the podcast, is now top 5% of podcasts worldwide?
Seriously?
Seriously. So Podsters, this is very much because of you. I mean, all we do is show up here and record every week, but you are the ones who are sharing the episodes with friends. Please continue to do that, particularly this one, because it's awesome. And you are the ones that are leaving us 5-star reviews. And if you haven't yet, why not? I mean, if you like it, it's the best way you can help us. But yeah, top 5% of podcasts globally. Big. That's huge. Did you ever think that would happen?
No, that's pretty impressive.
Nuts.
Well, we do talk about some good stuff.
We do indeed. So let's jump in. So resilience is top of mind. And the reason why it's top of mind for me is because I am working on a keynote, and part of the training is around resilience. And oftentimes people think that resilience means grit or perseverance or grinding through. You think about a Marine down on his knees or her knees, crawling through the mud. That is actually not resilience. Resilience is, I'm going to give you a definition I really like. It is, ready? Hang on. Having the mental, emotional, and behavioral flexibility and ability to adjust to both internal and external demands. So that's according to the American Psychological Association. So think about it. The mental, emotional, and behavioral flexibility and ability to adjust to both internal demands, to put a pin in that, and external demands. So nothing in there says grit and nothing in there says grind to me. And in my research, what I found was that resilience is about recovery. It is how you recover on the daily, how you recover in the day-to-day, how you recover at home, how you recover at work, how you recover and rest really is what it's about. I'm going to pause for a minute because that was a lot. Beth, what do you think?
I agree. And what I want to add to that is that it's not necessarily from things that are demanding, taxing, that sort of thing. It can also be from positive things, right? Like if you look at the list of top stressors in life, many of them are getting married, buying a home, right? Getting a promotion, anything that involves transition, right? Or pressure. It doesn't only have to be the harder, negative kind of weighed down things. And so I think a lot of the times people don't see the need for recovery because they're like, oh, I have all these fabulous things going on. I bought a house. I'm having a baby. We just got married. And it's like, yeah, but all those things are still big things internally and externally, right? So
Totally. And as you're saying that, you're bringing me back to a time I remember in 2018, I got married, 5-year anniversary coming up, by the way. Happy anniversary, honey, if you're listening. And I got married. I think we bought a house or something. I can't remember what it was, but there were three in a row, really, really, really powerful and positive things that were happening in my life all at the same time. And I was exhausted. And I remember I felt guilty because I was like, this is such a happy time. I should be enjoying what I can't be tired. And I was tired because I wasn't building in any recovery or relaxation or just resting. And I love that you talk about it being any kind of transitions or pressure, because I think I agree, when we think resilience, we think, okay, someone passed away or there was some kind of trauma or something really bad happened. How do you bounce back? And it's really not. It's an ongoing, how do you condition yourself so that you can recover as equally and as often as you are performing?
yes. Yeah. So it's about this balance, right? And I think for everybody, the balance is different. And I think everybody needs different recovery time or tactics for the same stuff. And I recently, full disclosure, was at my new therapist and we were talking about resilience because I was telling her that I felt like I couldn't get my resilience back. Like there have just been a number of things that have happened in my world, health-wise and family-wise, positive and challenging. And I said, I just don't feel resilient. And part of not feeling resilient for me is not feeling patient.
So you find yourself impatient, and that's concerning because you think that the more patient you are, that's an indication of how resilient you are.
Yes.
To just go with the ebbs and flows, right?
Yeah, because for me, things are just draining on me faster and easier, right? Instead of being like, hey, we got this. So I know that, I've been looking at this kind of recovery concept and what does that require?
So what does that require? Do you know, or is this an ongoing journey? Like, tell me.
No, I do know. First of all, whatever it entails setting boundaries around those things. So let's say that of boundaries. So for me, the perfect day of recovery is knowing what I'm doing right at that moment, maybe what I'm planning to do in the next hour or two, but not really any structure. Don't ask me what's for dinner. Don't ask me what movie I want to watch tonight. Let me sit and read my book. And when I've read enough, then I'll decide what I need next. Right. And just really taking things in one thing at a time, whether it's napping or reading or whatever. It's usually kind of escapish, quiet time, just with no expectations, no demands. I know that a day of that is really rejuvenating for me.
When was the last time you had a day like that? That to me is the perfect day.
Yeah.
I don't have to make any decisions.
Right.
Nobody's counting on me. I don't have any appointments. I'm not meeting anybody for dinner. I can just be for 24 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we did just last Sunday go to the beach, and it was very much like that. Sometimes there are questions like, well, how long are we going to stay? And blah, blah, blah. And it's like, let's just get there. Let's just see how it is. Let's just, see how everybody feels in a few hours. Right. And then it was like, well, what are we going to do after that? Maybe we'll go for ice cream. Maybe we won't. It was just like one thing at a time. But I know you two are a big beach person. It's just like, just going to let my cares go away with the waves.
Right. And did you find after that you were more creative or more patient?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Just more grounded in, I guess you could be grounded in joy, right? It's like, oh, right. I like this life, right? It's just like a reminder. I like this life. I can handle this life. So yeah. So that, and on vacation, I got it. And I think for me, if I need a short thing, like 3 or 4 hours, I want to go into the city and I just want to wander.
That's awesome.
Wander and look around and not worry about where am I going or that. That is really good for me. So, okay, now I'm going to hush and I'm going to give you some time to tell us about what recovery looks like for you.
Love it. I just want to note that we are going OG today and my landscapers just pulled up. Do you remember when we first started doing the podcast?
Yes. Yep. See?
I have this fancy microphone now, so hopefully we won't hear them. So I really love this, and I've been thinking about this a lot. And as everybody knows, or if you're newer to the podcast, my favorite word in the entire world is thrive. And I think about resilience. I think about this rest and recovery. That is part of how I thrive. So there's two pieces of thriving. There's the actual thriving, and then there's the preparing to thrive or the rest and recovery. It's interesting you say the beach, because just yesterday, a very dear friend of mine said to me, how can you not be at the beach at least 3 or 4 times a week? I live in the woods very close to the beach. And I was like, she's right. So I forced myself. It was 5:00 and I'm like, you know what? Or 4:00. An hour's better than nothing. And I went down to the beach, and you can't use your phone on the beaches here because there's no cell service. And I just sat there looking at the waves for an hour. And all of these creative ideas started flowing in and flowing in and flowing in, and problems that I was trying to work through in my head. I started seeing solutions. And that to me, that 1 hour recentered me after probably 2 weeks of just being pseudo off the rails, not off the rails, but just being very performance. So there's a term for it. There's a performance zone and the recovery zone. So being in this recovery zone was really gold. And you said grounded in joy, which I loved. As I was leaving the beach, and I think I might have posted about this. I might have. As I was leaving the beach, I like to look back at the water one last time. And I remember I used to look back at the water and get very sad. And I would be like, okay, bye until next year. And I reminded myself that I can come do this anytime I want. And when I say tsunami waves of gratitude washed over me, so I would say grounded in gratitude for me.
Nice.
Which is probably similar to being grounded in joy. And it was wow, okay, all right. So I feel like there's a risk of saying, oh, all you have to do is walk down to the beach or go for a walk in the woods or ground yourself outside. There's an exercise where if you walk in the grass barefoot, it's called grounding, and it truly works. It's a meditation and a centering technique. I don't necessarily think it's that simple. And also, I think it's that simple, right? It's the boundaries with yourself and the accountability to yourself. I mean, I was this close yesterday because I was banging through work and I was in the zone. And I'm like, if I keep going, I can bang out 3 more hours of work. And I said to myself, no, this is not going to be productive. You're going to burn out. You're going to do shit work. It's not going to be your best work. You're going to be resentful. And this is not the life that you've chosen for yourself. So I'm going to pause for a minute. so you can hear my landscapers. What do you think about that, Beth?
Yes, I agree. And actually, one of the things I wrote down for myself is, what is the productivity cost of not knowing your recovery needs or not making time for recovery? And I know here we also have this concept of the strategic pause. Like, we know this is going to happen. This isn't like something that happens and we don't know. So, you can schedule recovery time. And it's well warranted, right? Because like you said, if you don't take care of that resilience, how do you continue at that high performance level?
Mm-hmm.
You can't unless you recover, right? It's like putting nutrition into your body or, maintaining your car because you want it to run consistently. If you want to be productive and you don't want to make mistakes or you don't want to be burnt out and here's the other thing that was Nancy and I both looked at a really great article in the Harvard Business Review, and it mentioned that just stopping, and that's in air quotes, folks, is not recovery. Because if you just stop, but your mind is still racing in that place that is challenging your resilience, that's no good. Like if you're going to lay down, you have to be able to go to sleep. If you're going to go to the beach, you have to be able to get lost in thought. You have to think about, where is my full recovery, not halfway. Oh, I'm sitting down over here for a minute as I'm still listening to other people talking about the thing that's draining me. So that's what I would add at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. So the strategic pause is a big part of a keynote that I'm actually delivering next week. And the way I thought about that was, so the average person picks up their phone 150 times a day. Just picks up their phone, picks it up 150 times a day. And this is the average person. So think about it. That's 2.5 hours almost. Just picking up your phone. It's a minute each time. Now, I don't know about you, but I am rarely on my phone for only a minute. If I pick it up, I'm probably on it for 3 or 4 minutes. So the strategic pause could be something as simple as, I'm not going to look at my phone after 6 p.m. I'm not going to look at my phone for an hour. I'm going to put my phone in the other room while I'm on this conference call, or whatever the case may be. For me, it's the automatic shut off at 8 p.m. My phone goes into silent mode, or it goes into do not disturb mode every night at 8 p.m. And I also pay attention to, for those of us who have an iPhone, it will tell you how much time you spent on the phone every week, or your average. And there are some times where my average time on my phone is 4 hours a day. That sounds really like a lot, and it is a lot. And then I think about it, I'm like, okay, but wait a minute. How much of that was answering emails, posting on social media, interacting with my community? It's not listening to a podcast. So it's not necessarily I was on my phone and activated for 4.5 hours a day. I use my phone as a tool. Right. So one of the things that I will do is say, okay, when I feel myself starting to get close to burnout, is I will not use my phone for anything except business for the next week. Like, I'm not using it. I'm not going to doom scroll. I don't use it after 6, 7 o'clock at night. I will only use it as a work tool. And that for me is usually enough to kind of reset. The other thing you brought up that I thought was important, and that's part of this keynote for next week, is, you can say I leave work at 5 o'clock and I have balance. Like, I'm balanced. I leave work every day at 5 o'clock and I have good boundaries. If you're on your laptop in bed at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, it's not. And I'm not telling anybody how to live their life. I'm saying the recovery is shutting down your brain. Your brain needs as much recovery as your body. Think about an athlete, right? Mm-hmm. I ran a couple marathons. After the marathons, I spent 2, 3, 4 days really not moving a lot because my body physically needed to recover. Your brain needs to do the same thing, and it needs to do it daily. So if you don't have a routine where you're shutting down your brain at least an hour before bed, or at least an hour a day, mm-hmm. that's impacting you. It's impacting your performance.
Yes, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I agree.
So how do you shut down your brain at the end of the day?
So usually I'm down here with my husband, like maybe we're watching a little TV, but I have no problem actually going to sleep at the end of the day. But like, there are many days where I'm like, oh, when I'm sitting on the couch tonight, I'm just going to go through some emails. I'm going to catch up, because it's always about, I'm going to catch up. And then when I get to the couch, I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm picking up my computer right now.
Mhm.
And to me, it's just veg time. Like, we don't watch anything. I won't watch anything like really violent or high, stress on TV before bed.
Right.
So,
Right.
and then I'll go upstairs, by the time I'm done washing my face, brushing my teeth. If I think I can read 3 pages in my book, I'll try to do that. And I often listen to Yoga Nidra when I'm going to sleep, and that really gives me a good night's sleep. So
I love that. I do a little meditation sometimes when I want to go to sleep. It's awesome. The challenge with that is it's on my iPad, so I still have that blue light. I need to find a better way to do that because I can't stand the blue light in the room. I hate it.
Yeah.
I find it really, really disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the lack of recovery in summary is this is the internal recovery. So this is the recovery at work, at work. The lack of recovery, it impacts your cognitive abilities, period. It just does. I don't know. Like I wish I could. I remember when I used to go into an office every day and for our podsters that listen that do go into an office, whether it's a home office or a physical office, what can you do during the day to build in little mini recovery periods during your day? Is it phone a friend? Is it look out the window? I mean, it sounds so woo-woo, but it's scientifically proven.
Right.
You will burn yourself out if you don't build in little internal recoveries.
Right. Get up and get out of your workspace. Go outside if you can. If you're going to buy lunch, go out and walk to get it or just shake it up a little bit.
Yeah, I totally agree. One other way that I recover, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this on the podcast before, sorry, I can't get back to you. I just lost Beth. I can't get back to her. So I used to travel quite a bit for work. So all you podsters that travel a lot, listen up. This is going to blow your mind. I think I might have said this already. I used to travel a lot for work. And so let's say I would go to Vegas, which I would do often. I would try to catch the last possible plane out because I wanted to get out of Vegas. If you're in Vegas for 4 or 5 days, you want to go at the end, like you've had enough. And I would take the last plane out. Maybe it would be a red eye, leaves at 11 p.m. Don't really sleep on the plane. It's delayed, doesn't really leave till 1 a.m. Get home the next day. And I'm like, I'm going to ease into the day. Never really do because there's always something to be done. So I started building in an extra day. And I said to some of my friends that my work friends, hey, let's stay an extra day and let's go have a nice dinner and let's relax and let's fly back on the company dime. Like let's fly back on the company's not dime, but the company's time. Let's protect our time. And instead, if I have to fly a full day and miss a full day of work, okay, then that's what I have to do so that I can recover and be the best version of myself. The other thing that I started doing on planes, and this is going to blow a few people's minds, and trains, is for a while there, I didn't work. I would not work on a plane or a train. And people were blown away by it. And I was very uncomfortable the first few times I did it. But I would download some movies. I would catch up on my movies. I would catch up on my Netflix. I would read a book. I would do whatever. And it really positively impacted my performance at work. 100%. That's having a reaction over there. What's going on?
My neighbor's landscaper is here.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yep.
Oh, I can hear it. That's so funny.
Yeah, it's not funny. It's quite annoying, but that's okay. These things happen in here. Yeah, this is real life.
We give up on the paralysis of perfection. They know us here. It's all good.
Absolutely.
Calls to action. What do we think? I have a few, but I want to give you the opportunity to go first.
So I guess, a challenge would be is look at the next week and see where are there typical spots in your day that you might take a break, but it's not necessarily a recovery related break. So how can you make it more recovery related, like the things we were just talking about, like going out to grab a coffee or getting some fresh air, sucking in some D3. You know what? We're losing light now as we move forward.
You had to go there, didn't you?
Sorry, it's happening. But we need the D3. So, get out and get some D3. And, maybe call a friend or even just text a friend so you're having a conversation with somebody outside your work realm for a minute, or write down a win. This is something I'm really working on. It's a question that when people ask me, what are your wins? I'm like, what? I need like 20 minutes to come up with that. Like, And I shouldn't, right? I should know what they are. So even just taking a few minutes to look back in your calendar or your journal and say, oh, I'm having a lot of wins that I'm not really patting myself on the back for or feeling good about, right?
Love it. Love.
You? What do you think?
I would say for a few calls to action is be mindful of how much time you're spending on your phone. I'm not saying it's good or bad. There's no value there. I saying be mindful of it and what you're using it for. If you want to, there are many apps out there that will shut down your phone periodically throughout the day. Like if you can't control yourself or if you think you'll forget, there are apps out there that will do it for you. And we'll put some comments in the show notes on that. Totally. And, I would say, think about there's no badge of honor in being busy all the time. There isn't. And as a matter of fact, I believe it's the converse or the reverse that if you're so busy, you can't take 20 minutes, myself included, to go step outside or to go breathe for a minute or to enjoy a cup of tea or whatever is on your list and to recover or rest, then there's a bigger issue happening. And that's when I would recommend you look inward because what are you trying to prove? And to who? How do you like me now? Boom.
That's right. Mic drop. Mic drop.
Mic drop. Before I drop the mic, this is a really good segue to what I wanted to tell Podsters and I forgot earlier. So this retreat that I'm hosting in October, it's the Do the Thing retreat. We have built in rest time. We have, in addition to a private chef and healthy food and beachfront home in the woods of Cape Cod, we have outdoor hikes scheduled every day, curated by a local outdoors person. We have yoga every morning. There's a reason why I did this. And if people don't want to do the yoga, they don't have to. It's so that we're not like grind, go, go, go. So we rest a little and then we go through, I'll be taking everybody through my 4-step process for how to do the thing. Rest, work, rest, work. I didn't know consciously that that's how I formatted it. And then when I did a little more research on really what is resilience and how to be the most effective cognitively and in your business and in your work, I was like, oh, I kind of automatically did that with the retreat, which by the way, early bird pricing ends August 31st. So it's going to be probably like 3 or 4 days after this airs. So if you haven't hopped into that early bird pricing yet, there's a link in the bio, click it. We'll get on the phone. I want to make sure that this program is the right program for you. If you're interested, click the link. We'll get on the phone. We'll figure it out and we'll get you into the early bird and we'll rest in addition to blowing our minds with doing the thing. So that's what I wanted to add in there. Yeah. Listen, Podsters, if you come up with your own strategic pause, let us know what it is. We want to share ideas. We will share it. If you DM one of us and tell us what you're doing, which a lot of you do text me, share it and we will give you a shout out or we will share it with others so that as a community, we can all continue to grow and be more resilient.
Resiliency is the way to go, Nance.
Right. Resilience or bust.
Woo!
We peace outing.
Peace out.
Peace out. And that's a wrap. Podsters, we know that you found value in this episode, even if it was one little nugget. And we thank you for listening. So if you found value,
please share it with a friend or two or many if you'd like. And send us some feedback about the topics that you want to hear about, episodes that resonated with you, anything. We love to be connected to our Podsters.
We love it more than anything. Peace out. Hit that follow button. See you next week.